欢迎收看今天的汉天新闻，我是赵子腾。首先来看国际方面的消息。当地时间周一凌晨，德国发生了一件震惊世界的罕见盗窃大案。工作人员称，有窃贼闯入德国东部著名的绿色金库博物馆，盗走了至少3套18世纪初的珠宝，包括钻石和红宝石。监控录像显示，2名男子破窗而入，闯入博物馆。警报响起后5分钟，警方到达，但劫匪已经逃之夭夭。他们盗走的珠宝价值至少10亿欧元，并具有不可估量的文化价值。目前，针对盗贼的通缉令已经发出。
It's a robbery that's been described as brazen and the treasure stolen as immeasurably valuable. Just before 5 a.m., the security guards on duty here at Dresden Castle saw on their CCTV footage 2 men breaking the glass with an axe to get into the jewellery cases kept here inside the 18th century green vault. The police were alerted immediately, but by the time they arrived and within a matter of minutes, the robbery was over. Now the question is tonight, even as the manhunt continues, what the robbers will be able to do with this jewellery. So recognisable is it? The police have tweeted out a photograph of some of the pieces that have been stolen, some of the 100 pieces of jewellery that have been stolen. They involve diamonds and gems, extremely valuable, and yet very difficult to put a value on. What art experts have been telling us is that, first of all, this is going to be extremely hard for them to sell because you can immediately see where it's come from. Even if it's taken apart, we're told the way that the stones are cut is so specific that it will also be difficult to sell on any open market. Then there is the question of exactly how much was stolen beyond the number of pieces of jewellery themselves. Now, what the local art historians are saying is that it is simply impossible to measure. There are press reports here in Germany of the value being up to €1 billion, but what we're told is that these priceless pieces of art are of such historical and cultural importance, significance, that it is really very difficult to put an actual figure on them. Tonight then the manhunt continues for 2 or more thieves that might have been involved in this, who are tonight holding a treasure that is quite literally priceless. Melissa Bell, Dresden.
当地时间21日，以色列司法部以受贿、诈骗、背信3项指控正式起诉内塔尼亚胡之后，该国发表声明表示，根据法律规定，总理在遭到起诉的情况下无需辞职，仍然可以留任。许多国际政治方面的专家用以色列的川普来形容以色列总理内塔尼亚胡。而目前内塔尼亚胡针对控诉的态度也正像川普一样，他矢口否认所有的指控，并表示对他的起诉建立在虚假指控和警察不公正调查的基础上，是一场未遂的政变。
When Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defiantly denounced the criminal indictment against him,
we're witnessing an attempted coup against a serving Prime Minister.
It was as if there was an echo in the room.
This was an attempted coup. This was an attempted takedown of a president.
There was no mistaking it.
In this poisoned process, they never looked for the truth. They looked for me.
This was an illegal witch hunt, and everybody knew it.
This is neither coincidental nor superficial. It's not just President Trump's words that Netanyahu is borrowing, but his tactics.
We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
Netanyahu is fighting back Trump style, alleging his rivals on the left and the so-called crooked media of inspiring a baseless prosecution against him. Sound familiar?
We fight back. And you know why we fight back? Because I knew how illegal this whole thing was. It was a scam.
Netanyahu, the iconic political survivor, is punching back in an unprecedented way in Israel, questioning the integrity of some prosecutors and police.
I won't let the lie win. I'll continue to lead according to the law.
And with that comeback, some Israelis fear it's the country's democratic integrity that he's putting at risk. How do you feel about the state of Israeli politics right now?
It's a mess. It's a mess.
That may be indisputable. After 2 inconclusive elections, Israel may be headed for an historic third, with voters sharply divided on who should be the next prime minister. There is ambivalence, though, among many about forcing Netanyahu to step down, especially if his party, Likud, continues to support him.
That's the important thing here. It's what the Likud will do and how they will decide to have a new leader or step down.
To mitigate that, Netanyahu is even planning Trump-style rallies.
Impeachment witch hunt. Now we go again.
Netanyahu, nicknamed the Magician for his impeccable political instincts, is now channeling his devoted ally,
It's a witch hunt.
President Trump, and hoping it will work. Paula Newton, CNN, Jerusalem.
President of Ukraine, which they fraudulently mischaracterized to sound absolutely horrible.
当地时间11月6日，英国首相约翰逊正式宣布，将于12月12日举行大选，各党派纷纷进入激烈选战模式。根据当地时间25日公布的民调显示，保守党的支持度下降1个百分点，成为41%，工党则上升2个百分点，到达34%。这项民调并询问选民，如果他们是首相，未来5年内是否会同意苏格兰再次举行独立公投？40%受调者表示会同意，42%不会同意，18%表示不知道。
Just look in here, First Minister, please. Thank you.
On a charm offensive, cameras catching every moment. Scotland's First Minister and leader of the Scottish National Party, SNP, making jam, winning friends, meeting children.
Hello, I'm Matthew. Hello, I'm Matthew.
Wanting votes.
Nicola Sturgeon is at the vanguard of the SNP's election campaign. If Prime Minister Boris Johnson is to be defeated, then Scotland and Sturgeon's party are going to be key in achieving it.
Her second visit to Stirling in 2 weeks. Scottish independence, her big issue.
At the heart of the election is a question: who decides Scotland's future? Is it people like Boris Johnson who will take us down a path we don't want to go down, or do we take our future into our own hands?
150 chilly miles north.
Elgin is one of 13 Conservative-held seats in Scotland. They won it at the last election in 2017. The question now of voters here turning their back on Boris Johnson.
Ross challenging Sturgeon to come visit too.
Please, Nicola, come to Murray, because that reminds people that this is a two-horse race between myself and the SNP, and if you want to stop separation for Scotland, you've got to back Scottish Conservatives here and across Scotland.
My message to him would be careful what you wish for. I'll be in all parts of Scotland over the next wee while.
This election harder fought than previous, and voters more volatile.
So you might be drifting towards the SNP?
Correct, yes.
Did you vote for them last election?
No, I didn't.
So you'll be drifting away from the Conservatives then, maybe?
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Why would that be?
I think it's fairly obvious. I think Brexit has been a bit of a disaster.
I'll do number 2.
Early morning in Fife, in eastern Scotland. Pro-Remain Liberal Democrat candidate Wendy Chamberlain is chasing votes hard. Many voters at work. She has good reason to keep trying.
This is my worst run of outs ever.
They lost by 2 votes to the
excellent.
SNP,
Thank you.
the tightest margin across the whole UK. Her pro-Remain pitch: Brexit is simpler without Scottish independence.
Nicola Sturgeon suggested that their priority is and remains independence, so I think that for me dilutes the Stop Brexit message of the SNP to some extent.
The SNP's incumbent also talks up Brexit. Independence, not so popular in this constituency.
The SNP is the biggest and most united Remain party in the UK. We've worked cross-party and we're going to stop Brexit and stop the Tories.
Volatility here too. And again, Brexit at the root of it.
I was SNP, but I'm Swithin.
Oh, you're moving away from Mr Gethins then?
Could be, yeah.
And what would be your reason for that?
I want to leave Europe.
Across Scotland, the message is clear. Many people are confused, frustrated, even angry. Predicting the outcome of the elections is a huge challenge, perhaps nowhere more so than here in the country's post-industrial heartland, where at the last elections, Labour support surged.
In traditional Labour strongholds like Glasgow North East, incumbent Paul Sweeney believes the SNP has had its day.
The big story of the last election was the SNP vote collapsing because the anger and frustration of the wake of the 2014 independence referendum had kind of dissipated.
Will we go up onto the first and second decks?
At the doors, elderly voters backing Sweeney.
Right, see you later on then. Hopefully we can count your support for Labour this time round if you're...
Yeah, but I'm always a Labour man anyway.
Oh, good to hear it, right.
But on the nearby streets, younger voters bucking his analysis.
We'll be voting SNP. Yeah.
Why SNP?
Every generation in my family's been SNP, would like to go for independence, so yeah, SNP definitely, yeah.
I'm the same, yeah.
In this winter election, young and motivated might trump old and loyal. Back in Stirling, where Sturgeon's SNP lost to Johnson's Conservative last election, heavy campaigning is paying off.
I've had nothing but Scottish nationalists through the door, at the door, and they want it bad. Scotland should be able to do what is good for them.
Whatever the outcome of this election, what is clear here in Scotland is that the political battle for independence is getting closer. Nick Robertson, CNN, Scotland.
当地时间11月24日，韩国媒体报道，28岁的韩国女歌手具荷拉被发现在家中身亡。具荷拉是不久前自杀身亡的女星崔雪莉的好友，并在5月份就有过轻生举动。2018年，她与前男友发生过肢体冲突，被曝被前男友暴力虐待，并以不雅视频要挟。近年来，她在社交媒体上发表的内容都相对悲观消极，被认为可能患有抑郁症。近年来，韩国娱乐圈明星不断发生自杀事件，引发了全社会的关注。韩国政府称，考虑修正法案，更好地保护民众心理和生活环境的健康与安全。
Another young life cut short in the world of K-pop. Singer and actress Gu Hara was found dead in her home Sunday evening. Police say they found a note in her living room and presume this to be her suicide note. Fans gathered at a hospital in Gangnam where a memorial has been set up to mourn the 28-year-old. This fan says, "She was my strength when I was having a tough time in school." Gu had been mired in a legal battle against her former boyfriend Chae Jong-bum, who she said threatened her with a sex video. Days before she was due to testify in May, she was found unconscious in her home after posting goodbye to her Instagram account. She was rushed to hospital and later apologised to fans. For his part, Chae was found guilty of blackmail and assault and given a suspended sentence, according to Gu's attorney. Throughout her career, Gu had been subjected to negative online comments. A month after she was hospitalised, she revealed she was suffering from depression. Just last month, 25-year-old singer Sully, a close friend of Gu's, was found dead in what police said was an apparent suicide. The same day, Gu posted a picture they took together, writing, "Hope Sully will do all she wants in her world." After Sully's death, Kakao, one of the major news services in South Korea, closed its comment section to stop malicious comments against entertainers. Mental health experts say it is a step in the right direction, but there's a long way to go. Gu's death has once again ignited scrutiny into the K-pop industry and the negative attention the stars endure. Paula Hancock, CNN Seoul.
休息一下，马上回来。